Hey, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson along with Andrew Bone. Breaking news, DeVonta Smith has committed to Alabama. Flip from Ohio State here with Andrew Bone to break it all down. Alabama already has a DeVonta Smith. DeVonta Smith is a class of 2021 corner here with Andrew Bone to break it all down. Bone, what can you tell us about DeVonta Smith?
Well, I feel like it's deja vu all over again. Getting another, I don't know if his nickname's Smitty, but getting another DeVonta Smith on board, huge commitment for Alabama. And I know some people are looking at it saying, well, he's a three-star cornerback, that was committed to Ohio State, and now he just flipped to Alabama. Well, when you're heavily recruited by Ohio State and Alabama, you got to think he's a little bit better than a three-star, and I think he's one of the top defensive back prospects in the country. And just from talking to our regional guys, our national guys from Rivals.com, I think they're high on him. They seem extremely impressed with him. They're really hoping to see him a little bit more during the spring. They were trying to determine if he was going to play safety or cornerback before they made that big bump up with him. He's about 6 feet tall, 100 to 85 pounds. Now, he's recruited by Alabama as a cornerback, so that's the position that they recruited him to play. But I think this is a big pickup. Dave Lack from the Ohio State site covers recruiting for Ohio State. Actually just wrote a piece a few days ago saying that he believed that this was the most underrated player in Ohio State's recruiting class. So that should tell you a lot about him. Had a great junior season. But like I said, from talking to Josh Hemholt, who covers the region up there, he said he saw him early on during his junior season, and really wanted to see him a little bit more this spring, just see how much he's developed and gotten bigger, and really kind of, like I said, determined if he was going to play safety or corner. But Alabama's strictly recruiting him as a corner. I heard Nick Saban really took a personal interest in him and became one of the top recruiters for him on the Alabama staff. But the guy who led the charge there is Charles Huff, Alabama running backs coach, doing a tremendous job in the state of Florida this year. And now he goes up into Ohio and flips one of Ohio State's top commitments. So he's having a big year, and certainly probably an early front runner for recruiter of the year.
That's what I was just going to say. I mean, Charles Huff, he's brought so much to Alabama in such a short time. Another big pickup for the Alabama Crimson Tide. When we look at the corner situation for Alabama, as you stated, this is one of their top targets. What other corners could Alabama potentially be going after? And how many defensive backs overall do you think they'll take in the class of 2021?
Yeah, people keep asking me, well, who does this eliminate? With this commitment on board, who kind of falls off, the track a little bit? Really nobody. I mean, this is Alabama's first cornerback commitment in 2021 recruiting class, still going after several guys. And you're still trying to determine who's going to end up being a cornerback at the next level. We know about Jason Marshall, one of the top cornerbacks in the country out of South Florida. Latrell McCutcheon, who's a former Alabama commitment. He's another guy that Alabama's still pursuing. JaQuincy McKinstry, the number one player in the state of Alabama out of Pinson Valley. And I think there's still a question mark there. Does he play safety? Does he play corner? I think he's probably a corner, but there's still some top guys that are out there. Sage Ryan out of Louisiana, he can play safety or corner. There's a lot of guys that are out there that really can play either or. Terrion Arnold's another guy that Alabama's heavily recruiting. So there's still a lot of guys they're heavily involved in, that they're heavily going to continue to pursue, and Kyrie Jackson, junior college defensive back out of East Mississippi, is another guy. All those guys are still going to get heavily recruited. There's not going to be any slack off there. Now if we see another cornerback jump on board here soon, or maybe before the season starts, then you might start seeing some guys, maybe fall off a little bit. But Alabama's still pressing on with these other cornerback targets as of right now.
Bone, you've talked about it before. A lot of decommits, a lot of flips that could potentially happen now until we get to signing day. Who are some other targets that are committed to other programs that we should keep tabs on that could potentially be flip candidates as we move forward?
Well, there's another Ohio State guy that Alabama is still heavily pursuing, and Tumise Adelie, the five-star defensive end out of IMG Academy. That's another top target for Alabama. I think you also have to look at the quarterback situation. Who's potentially going to end up being Alabama's quarterback in this class? And they're recruiting two guys very heavily. Luke Altmaier from Starkville High School in Mississippi, who's committed to Florida State. Also, Jalen Milroe out of Texas, currently committed to Texas. Alabama's hoping to get those guys back on campus this upcoming football season. A couple tight ends, Elijah Arroyo, also out of Texas, committed to Miami. Jermaine Terry, who's committed to Cal. Alabama's really hoping to get those guys on campus for officials. Now, they haven't said that they will definitely official yet, but Alabama's still heavily in pursuit. Jordan Hancock, another top cornerback, actually, who is committed to Clemson right now out of North Gwinnett High School. He's certainly a top guy for them. So we'll kind of see if he ends up potentially making a trip to Tuscaloosa this upcoming fall or not.
Big news with DeVonta Smith committing to Alabama tonight, flipping from Ohio State. Alabama has Smitty, who's going to be a returning top wide receiver in the country, added another DeVonta Smith. We'll see if he's nicknamed Smitty too going forward. But breaking news tonight as DeVonta Smith has flipped from Ohio State to Alabama. For more recruiting coverage, go to BamaInsider.com. Of course, follow Andrew Bone. All the coverage back on BamaInsider.com for a free 30 days. Promo code is simply Roll Tide. We'll catch you soon back at BamaInsider.com.